channel. My name is Rose and today we have literature in English. But before we proceed, please remember to subscribe by hitting the red button down below, share and like our videos. Also, turn on your post notification. That way you always know when a new content has been posted. Alright, so we have literature in English. People think literature in English is a broader part of English language. No, please. Literature in English is just a part of English language. Alright, and one thing you should know is literature is a good tool in language learning. It helps you learn a language better and easier. Alright, so in literature in English today we'll be discussing the genre of literature. Now, literature is a very interesting subject. Why? It opens up your imagination. It keeps you in suspense. You always like to know more. Your curiosity will be increased. All right. I said earlier that literature is a very good tool in language learning. Why? It makes us understand various cultures of the world, then be aware of the differences, then also creates a tolerant attitude towards them. That way you can always tolerate and learn more about other cultures of the world. All right. So we have the genre of literature. But before then, literature means a body of written work. Literature means a body of written work. It could be in English language, in Igbo language, in German. Just name it. Literature is everywhere. But today we are concentrating on literature in English language. That is why it is defined as the study of all written work in English language. All right, so let's go to the genre of literature. Now, this genre of literature simply means the category of literature, how they're divided. It's just a part of literature that tells you or helps you identify the type of literary work you're going through, the type, the format, the content. All right, there are three main genres of literature there. We have number one, drama or play. Number two, we have the poetry. And number three, we have the prose. All right, let's go to drama first. Drama or play, of course, we already know what it means. Drama, acting, it has to do with a body of literature that contains a lot of dialogue. You know what dialogue means? A talk between two people that contains a dialogue. It is usually acted on a play, on a stage rather, with a lot of characters and of course the audience. The father of English drama is who? All right, let me show you. Let me give you the name. His name is what? William Shakespeare. All right, I said earlier that literature helps you understand the various cultures of the world. If you look at this man, all his work, he wrote it in what we call the Old English. What we call the Old English, of course, is in England, and the language is known to be extinct now, but it's just written like we see in many of Shakespeare's work. All right, so in his English you hear something like, all night, why doest thou, just that kind of language, doest thou dine, many of them. So you shouldn't be confused. It is written in Old English, and examples of some of his work, because he concentrated mainly on drama, and some of his work, we have The Tempest, Othello, Romeo and Juliet, and so on and so forth. All right. And one thing you should also know is someone who writes a drama or a play is called a playwright or a dramatist. This one, dramatist or a playwright. All right, let's move to poetry. Poetry is known for metrical writing. Yes, metrical, it has a particular way it's written. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention, in play, it is written in acts and scenes. in arts and scenes. You should know this. It comes up in your wire questions, any questions after you say it. Play is written in arts and scenes. That's one thing you should know. All right. In poetry, it's known for its metrical writing. It has a particular format which it follows. Another thing you should know about poetry is it has rhyme and reading. Now, the rhyme is two like words sounding alike, while the reading means the ability of the poem to maintain that particular reading, that is the particular rhyming till the end of the poem. Okay, let's look at this popular one. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. If you notice, star and R sounds alike. That is a rhyme. And reading is the way the sounds continue. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. When the traveler in the night asks you for the special light, just that way. All right, we'll be concentrating more of that when we take it alone. All right, you should know that poetry or poems, we write them in verses, and stanzas. All right, it is written in lines. Then we have the verses and of course the stanzas. All right, let's move to prose. Now, this prose is this is what we are concentrating on. This one does not have a metrical way of writing. You just write as the imagination flows. Do you understand? And in prose, we have what we call fiction and non-fiction. Yes, we have fiction and non-fiction. We know fiction as something that is not real. A lot of fantasies are involved. In fact, they made use of the imagination so much. You can hear something like myths and legends, something that has not existed before. You hear something like dragons, dinosaurs, fairies, and the rest. They're all fictional characters. So prose work is divided into two. We have the fiction, then the non-fiction brings it more to life. They are more realistic. Do you understand? All right. A person who writes a work on prose is known as a prosist. Now, many of you would like to some of you would want to put it to me that I'm wrong. No, I'm not wrong. You know, many of you know it as a novelist or an author. Now I'm going to explain it to you. The prose is the bigger part. These are just sub parts. Okay. Now, a novelist is someone who writes fictional characters, fictional novels. The person who writes fictional novels is called a novelist. Of course, we know that fictional characters are inside this already. Then an author is someone who writes a small published book. But the prose is the bigger part, and it is written in chapters and paragraphs. All right. You might also want to bring a writer into this. A writer is just someone who writes. It could be for a column on the newspaper, for a magazine, or a blog. It's just someone who writes. So, for your answer in literature, if you did not see this as part of the options, you write any of these, you're still correct. But I'm trying to tell you that this is the main character we're looking on. A prosist is someone who writes a work on prose. Alright? Then of course I explained already that the novelist and the author are just sub-parts. Alright. Another thing you should know, these are genre of literature. There are some functions it gives. It helps us to learn and improve our communication skills. When you read, there are some new words you pick up, look for the meaning, and it becomes part of your everyday speech. You notice your communication skills will just increase. Then of course you will be guided on how to behave. For example, in some of the work written by this man, he brought out some bad characters and the way they behave. And if you should read it and you notice that some of them did not end well, of course you try to abstain from such lifestyle. All right. Another one is it keeps the readers informed. You will learn more. How many of you have ever thought of reading books from outside this country, like focusing on the old Romance history, the Greek history? That are very, very interesting. And when you read about that, you'll be wondered. You'll be left in awe because you'll be hearing some of the fictional novels that talked about the Zeus, the god Zeus, goddess Athena, and the rest. It keeps you informed. You notice that your knowledge will be improved. The next thing is it enhances our imaginative and emotional power. Let me bring it down to poetry, prose, and drama. The three of them, they keep your imagination active. Remember, when you read, you try to picture what you're reading. Do you understand? You try to picture what you're reading. Let's say I'm reading one of Shakespearean's work about Romeo and Juliet. It keeps your imagination active. Wow, what kind of love is this, that the man was willing to sacrifice himself despite their families, that their families were sworn enemies, but they will still meet in secret to keep their love active. You just be wondering, wow. It keeps you in awe. All right. The next one is it brings out your analytical and persuasive capability. You know, when you read, you try to analyze what you're reading, try to criticize it more. That way, not everything you see will be surprising anymore, because then you like to criticize, analyze them before you make your decision. All right. That is where we'll end our lesson for today. In the next series, we'll be talking about drama. All right. Please remember to subscribe. The red button below. Subscribe, share, and like our videos. All right. Till next time. Bye-bye.